Morning friends, happy Wednesday, how are you doing and what a headline to wake up to. Do you think this one's true? Because personally, I think it's an absolute load of garbage. Harry and Meghan's Netflix deal is dead. Bosses are just waiting for the credits to roll on this $100 million contract with no appetite for anything new after dismal viewing figures, insiders claim. And according to the Daily Mail, the insider is someone in Netflix, but the viewing figures, even confirmed by Gawk, are absolutely off the scale amazing. Me thinks something else could be going on here. Catherine and William have been discovered on their 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th holiday of the year, who knows. They clearly wanted to keep it an absolute secret. They've been discovered. The usual story of the briefings against Harry and Meghan are going to continue. We can't have Harry and Meghan looking good whilst Workshire Willie and his bride are on their 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th holiday of the year, can we? These two have to be terrible in order to make the royal family look good. What does that say about the non-working taxpayer-funded royal family? They are relying on other people to be worse than them so they can look good. Woo! Time for change in 2024 and 2025. Comments are open. Let me know what you think.
Welcome, dear viewers. We kick off today with a fiery statement from Martyn Gould. When Martyn Gould speaks, he does so with a conviction that's hard to ignore. Recently, he took the British media to task, calling them out for what he deems as their blatantly unbalanced and selectively outraged coverage. The spark that ignited this statement, the media's relentless scrutiny of Harry and Meghan's professional relationship with Netflix, it's a relationship that was always destined to be in the spotlight, but Martyn argues that it never warranted the level of distortion it received. Headlines, sources, narratives, it all seems designed to stir doubt and generate negativity, Martyn remarked, echoing what many of us have been thinking but few have dared to say out loud. The media's focus on creating a spectacle, he suggests, often overrides their responsibility to report with fairness and balance. Gould doesn't stop there. He points out the deafening silence around certain individuals who manage to slip away for private vacations, escaping the critical lens that so often hovers over Harry and Meghan. Not a single critical word, not a whisper. Complete silence, he observes. This, he says, unmasks the media's double standards and biased interest. Why is it, Martyn asks, that one couple is dissected and criticised while others are shielded from the same level of scrutiny? It's a question that hangs heavy in the air, demanding an answer. Even when Netflix issued a statement to clarify the situation, explaining that there was no scandal, no fallout, no betrayal, and that the contract was simply coming to an end, the media chose to ignore this in favour of their own narrative. They chose sensation over truth, and once again Harry and Meghan were made the targets. Enough is enough, says Martyn, in an appeal for fairness. When will the media reflect on the damage caused by their one-sided reports? When will they apply the same level of scrutiny to all public figures, not just those who have chosen a different independent path? Martyn's words ring clear. The biased interest and selective scrutiny must be addressed. But what did the media choose to focus on instead? Let us delve into the media's narrative surrounding Harry and Meghan's Netflix deal. The story they spun was less about facts and more about creating a whirlwind of controversy. Instead of reporting on the deal's details or the couple's ambitions, the media chose to focus on speculation, sensationalism, and outright misinformation. They painted a picture of a royal couple gone rogue, of scandal and betrayal. The headlines were shocking, the accusations bold. It was as if they were more interested in creating a spectacle than in providing accurate, balanced reporting. The media's narrative was more about selling papers and driving clicks than it was about delivering the truth. And what was the truth? Harry and Meghan had struck a deal with Netflix, one that would enable them to produce content that they believed in, content that could inspire and educate. But instead of celebrating this achievement, the media chose to portray it as a negative, as something to be criticised and dissected. The media chose to ignore the couple's intentions and instead focused on creating a narrative that suited their agenda. They chose to depict Harry and Meghan as outsiders, as rebels who had turned their backs on tradition. They chose to sensationalize, to stir up controversy where there was none. But in doing so, they overlooked a crucial element: the truth. The truth about the deal, the truth about the couple's intentions, and the truth about their commitment to creating meaningful content. It's as if the media decided that the truth wasn't as important as the narrative they wanted to create, and that's where they went wrong. Because in their rush to create a scandal, they lost sight of their responsibility to report the truth. This is not journalism, it's sensationalism. It's not about providing accurate, balanced reporting, it's about creating a spectacle. It's not about delivering the truth, it's about driving clicks and selling papers. This is not journalism, it's harassment wrapped in headlines. Amidst the noise, Netflix stepped in with a calm and clear statement. It was a welcome breath of fresh air in a storm of sensation and speculation. While the media was busy spinning tales of scandal and betrayal, Netflix maintained a steady hand on the tiller. Their response was succinct, unambiguous, and unequivocal. There is no scandal, no fallout, no betrayal. The contract between Harry and Meghan and the streaming giant was described as simply reaching its natural conclusion, a common occurrence in the ever-changing landscape of the entertainment industry. Netflix didn't shy away from addressing the future either. They left the door wide open for a potential renewal of the contract, stating that they would welcome the opportunity to continue working with Harry and Meghan. This is a significant statement considering the media's attempts to paint a picture of strained relations and broken alliances. But Netflix's response was not only about setting the record straight, it was also a powerful statement against the media's relentless and often biased scrutiny of Harry and Meghan. By standing firmly by their side, Netflix sent a clear message. They valued the couple's work, their commitment to creating meaningful content, and their ability to inspire audiences worldwide. Nevertheless, Netflix's response was a far cry from the narrative the media had been trying to sell. The media had chosen to focus on controversy and conflict, ignoring the facts presented by Netflix. They preferred to speculate rather than to report, to sensationalize rather than to inform. In the end, Netflix's response was a beacon of truth in a sea of misinformation. They chose to prioritize transparency, honesty, and respect, standing by Harry and Meghan in the face of unjust criticism. Their message was clear, but it was not the story the media wanted to tell. In the face of such reckless media coverage, Netflix's response serves as a reminder that truth and fairness should always prevail over sensationalism and bias. After all, isn't that what journalism is supposed to be about? So what is the real issue at hand here? As we've seen, it's not about content or contracts. It's about control. The media, with its insatiable appetite for sensationalism, seeks to dictate the narrative, to control the players on its stage. But Harry and Meghan have refused to be marionettes in this orchestrated drama. They've stepped out of the shadows, out of the confines of the roles assigned to them, and into the light of their own making. They've refused to be defined by the media's caricatures, but instead have chosen to define themselves. They've demanded to be seen as they truly are. Two individuals committed to creating content that uplifts, inspires, and educates. This refusal to be controlled is a direct challenge to the media's agenda. It's a defiance of the status quo. It's a bold statement that they will not be made to fit into neat, preconceived boxes, but will instead carve out their own space. Harry and Meghan have chosen to stand in their truth, to use their platform to tell stories that matter, stories that resonate with the human experience in all its complexity and diversity. They've decided to focus on narratives that enlighten rather than those that merely entertain. They've chosen substance over spectacle. And this choice, this refusal to be controlled, has not sat well with certain quarters. The media, used to being the puppet master, is not comfortable with this newfound independence. It does not like the power dynamics being challenged. It does not like the tables being turned. And so it twists, it spins, it distracts. It seeks to regain control by sowing doubt and discord, by peddling half-truths and outright lies. It aims to undermine Harry and Meghan, to tarnish their image, to question their motives. But here's the thing. Harry and Meghan's independence, their refusal to be controlled, is not just a personal stance. It's a revolutionary act. It's a challenge to the established order. It's a testament to the power of autonomy, of self-determination, of standing in one's truth. Harry and Meghan's independence is revolutionary, and the media simply cannot stand it. But thanks to people like Martyn Gould, the illusion is cracking. In the face of a media landscape that often seems intent on creating its own reality, it's heartening to see voices of reason and fairness rise above the noise. The media's tactics, once shrouded in mystique, are becoming more transparent to the discerning eye. And it's not just about recognizing these tactics, it's about understanding the power we hold as consumers of news to demand better. There's a growing awareness that the media's narrative isn't the only one. It's not the definitive version of events, but one perspective among many. And while it's often the loudest, it doesn't have to be the most influential. As we navigate this era of information overload, it's vital that we learn to discern fact from fiction, to question the stories we're presented with, and to seek out multiple perspectives. We must remember that every story has more than one side, and it's our responsibility to explore them all. This isn't about blindly accepting or rejecting the media's narrative. It's about engaging with it critically, about holding it up to scrutiny, about asking tough questions and demanding honest answers. It's about refusing to be passive consumers of news and instead becoming active participants in the conversation. And it's not just up to individuals. There's a collective responsibility here. We need to raise our voices, not just as lone dissenters, but as a chorus demanding better. We need to hold the media to account, to insist on fair and balanced reporting, to challenge the narratives that seek to divide and distract us. This isn't a call to arms, it's a call to action. It's a plea for engagement, for curiosity, for critical thinking. It's a challenge to each and every one of us to stay informed, to seek truth, to protect it vigilantly. Because truth isn't just about facts, it's about fairness, about balance, about justice. So let's take up this challenge. Let's stay informed. Let's question. Let's demand better. Until next time, take care and protect truth.